Charlie and Ed, I'll go ahead and hand the meeting over to the both of you.
Excellent. Uh, pleasure to be here today. We have a very um, thoughtful agenda today, and I think we're going to try a couple new things. We're going to talk about a real estate topic that I think may be of interest to everybody, and Pear is going to lead that effort. And then we're also going to be providing an update on the case studies that we are executing and has just been authorized to be able to proceed. At our last meeting, we had talked about these two topics, introducing a topic every on occasion to talk about a subject matter, as well as the research that we're doing. We also conducted a discussion about, the various real estate topics in terms of reuse of space, redisposition of office space, and green, and those types of initiatives. So I think we're going to start off today, unless Ed or Crystal or Robin have any initial comments, go right to Pear.
I think also, Charlie, perhaps I think we're flipping the agenda slightly to start with the case stories.
Oh, God, that's right. I remember that email yesterday. So is Bruce on?
No, he's not on this call.
Okay, got it. Okay. Ed, do you want to discuss the background of what we've been working on, as well as the exercise? We've commissioned I'll start. This has been a process that we've been going through for about 1.5 years to get 2 to 3 page summarizations of the case study World Trade Centers. And the intent is to do something a little different, but start building a book, a resource guide for each of the various World Trade Centers that we do. And Bruce Marine, who has worked with the WTCA and World Trade Center Gibraltar, most notably, is going to be conducting that research. I'm going to pull and the analysis is going to focus in on, we're going to take 10 World Trade Centers this time, and we're going to focus in on some very important matrices of the World Trade Centers that speak to absorption pace, rental rate, tenant mix, characteristics that are unique about the venue. And we're also going to try this time to get information on tenants and key vendors that are active in the World Trade Centers. And the motivation for this is to really start preparing information that all the WTCs can use to improve their information, and also hone in on the best practices for other World Trade Centers have been working on. We've worked on this RFP and proposal now for about 4 or 5 months, and I think it's been fully executed. Is that correct, Robin or Crystal?
Yes.
All right. So I think, we're very excited about that. I'd like to open up any comments with respect to that. I'm going to try to boot up the outline that Bruce sent us. Crystal, do you have that handy?
Sure. Let me just pull it up real quick. I just want to give a quick thanks as well before maybe Ed wants to jump into the group of members from this MAC specifically who set up our task force on telling us, kind of giving us recommendations on which members to approach for this first set of case stories, as well as the types of guidelines we're looking for. Ed, Robin, anything else to add?
If you wanted me to add, hello everyone. It's good to see everyone on the call. I hope you're all well. Further to what Charlie said, I think basically one of the key items of feedback that we've all had between World Trade Center members and also from our colleagues in New York and across the world are to find ways in which we can best deliver what I would call probably an elevator pitch for real estate World Trade Centers. And
good way to say
I think Robin and Robin's team have done a fantastic job with those 2 new videos that are circulating. at the moment, which are sort of promotional videos that the WTCA have put on, which again aim to deliver a bit of a snapshot of what the network does for you. But I think what these are planning to be is sort of that sort of bite-sized snapshot look at an individual real estate World Trade Center, which gives that individual World Trade Center a fantastic PR opportunity for themselves to use amongst their own members and with key stakeholders from where they are. But it also arms people who are working for the WTCA, who are selling licenses or trying to reinvigorate dormant licenses, around the importance of the network, what it does for you, what it can bring to the local community, and some of those key sort of factors that might help to re-energize or launch a new license in a new location. So we're hoping that these case stories, whilst only being the start at 10 World Trade Centers, will hopefully provide us with a sort of a route path, or a route map, should I say?
I like that. Yeah, that's the right word. Yeah. Yeah. And our intention really is to build a portfolio of these and complement other research that's being done by other MACs. So I think we're going to develop some really potent information, and Bruce is, I think, going to be a great consultant to help get execute the work. So we'll keep you posted on that on the next MAC, and if there's some emails that come out with respect to that, very excited. Is it time for Per?
If so, I'm happy to take the word. My internet connection here was bad, so I had to shut off the video. But I'm very excited to introduce you to Wasim Rashid, founder and CEO of Orbit, who I think should be of interest to most of us, if all of us, in sort of putting digitalization, sustainability, and flexibility into one concept, which should suit the brand's enhancement of our brand, as well as how we could manage the real estate in the best possible way. So I just want to introduce you to Wasim and say the word. The floor is yours, Wasim.
Thank you, Per, and hi, everyone. I just need to start to share my screen so you can see my presentation. Just give me 2 seconds. So hopefully you are seeing my screen now, and I will kick it off. So hi, everyone. My name is Wasim Rashid, and I'm the CEO and founder of Orbit Technology, a small startup based out of Oslo in Norway. The building in the photo that you see is that one that CNN has rated as one of the most anticipated buildings to set the shape to the world. Why? Because it's super energy positive, meaning that actually it creates more energy than it actually uses. That building is powered by Orbit. With Orbit technology, a powerhouse is able to increase the utilization rate, helping it to become one of the most sustainable buildings in the world. Our 6 building blocks provide a digital identity in the physical world, combined with a state-of-the-art access system which connects buildings across the world. What does this mean for landlords? They have one single platform to provide them with a real-time data and insight about actual use that is happening in that property or those buildings. As you probably already have seen in your city or in your buildings, that fully rented buildings have been completely empty during Corona. Or perhaps the buildings used change during the week, the days, or even the months. With the help of our platform, landlords have the power to increase their building's utilization rate. And that increase in the building's utilization rate means more profit and a super new source of income for the landlords. What the users see It's a super easy, simple app, but yet a very powerful app. The tenant and the user download the app. They can easily book a workspace for the day or for even for some hours, show up in the building, and voila, they will be able to just by swiping their hands get access to that building or that property. The landlords also get the access to a dashboard showing them the real-time data on the tenant's use in that building. So the buildings that have lower usage can then be by the tenants in need of extra space. By connecting existing properties through our platform, landlords are able to create a network of office spaces with a seamless booking and access system. They are also able to connect third-party spaces to offer, let's call that to be a type of a real estate as a service. The benefit for Orbit and for all tenants and members, that space comes back to life. There's one membership with hundreds of locations. The best work is just around the corner. Super easy to find spaces to focus and collaborate. Offer employees more flexibility and option for remote work. And the value for landlords, access new insight and data to optimize utilization and value creation. A unique value proposition with a global and even a local network focus. And using the platform, you can strengthen the premium brand and focus on the world in World Trade Centers. Future-proof the brand, tenant needs and changing markets is one of the keywords. So, being a startup, our pitch to you, to create a World Trade Center pass using the World Trade Center brand with Orbit technology. To do this, we will connect World Trade Center buildings to a premium experience for your tenants and your members, providing them with a solution for flexible workspaces at their fingertips. You will be able to offer a unique value for your tenants, members, and landlords across buildings and across countries. So our offer to you, we will install World Trade Center branded Orbit technology in the buildings of your choice for 6 months, all for free. At the end of the 6 months, pay if you guys are happy. With Orbit technology, we can offer a more flexible and sustainable service that will future-proof your buildings and provide your tenants with the insight they deserve. Leverage your global network and offer a premium solution that will attract and retain even more members with Orbit technology. So that's all my presentation. Thank you for your time. And as we say in Norway, tusen takk. And I will look forward for your discussions and if you have any questions to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Wasim. Maybe Charlie or Ed, if there are questions, answered questions that we could ask Wasim while he's on.
Yes, we'd like that very much. And I think the most important question is what's the applicability in place today and how is it being used today? If you could give us kind of a real world example how it's applied.
Yeah, so right now we have more than 30 different locations activated on our platform. Sorry, I think I lost it. So there you go, sorry. Right now we have more than 30 locations activated on our platform. And the way that the platform works right now is that tenants and Orbit members, they can use the full network that we have created. And if they want to get a flexible workspace near where they live or where they are, they can use the same platform and the same product to just move around cross buildings, regardless of who actually owns those properties or those buildings. So more than 30 locations, and we have all of the major landlords, at least in Norway, be part of our network.
Okay.
Could you say something about the growth rate that you are experiencing, Wasim?
Yes, I can say something about that. So we, due to Corona, we couldn't launch the product towards the users because it was a completely lockdown and restrictions in Norway. But right now we have more than 3,500 users using the service every day.
Wow. Okay. Love to get some reactions or questions from others to see how it works. And the question I would have is the interface between the visiting employee and the current employer and their employees, and how comfortable that is from the user's standpoint, and how that works.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, that for the user is a completely easy app where they can download the app, sign in with a security method, and they will get access to all of those properties that exist in the network, and they can choose a location near them, enter the time and the date when they want to have that booking. Either it's a meeting room or a boardroom or whatever that exists in the inventory right now, and they will move in. For the landlord side, they have a dashboard where they can real time follow all the movement that is happening in their properties, so they can see how the usage is changing during the day, and all that data is captured real time. So they have real time insight about usage.
Good. Max, I understand you have a question. Your hand's raised.
Yes, I noticed in the deck that it is there's a fee per user. Is that a fee that the actual user pays? Because we charge membership per individual for World Trade Centers, and they're allowed to then use space when they're traveling abroad, office space.
Right. So it's basically up to you to decide what that premium World Trade Center pass should cost. Or if you want to have a different kind of packages, it's basically up to you to decide what the fee should be. So we are just enabling that subscription towards those different landlords that are part of our platform. You can even decide that your members should have free access to all locations. As an example, if you see that there are some meeting groups that should cost more than the other, you can basically set those prices also per the hour. So you can say that, so this room costs like $100 during the workday, but after 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock, the cost is $50. It's up to you guys to decide what that price model should look like. Our platform is built completely holistic and flexible, so you can make all the changes. It's up to the landlord to define the pricing limits. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, it did. Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Charlie, this is John
Yes,
Drew.
sir. Hey,
No,
John.
I was just wondering if we could use this with our conference center members, where people could go easily from, around to our members from place to place, and they would know if there's a room available for them to host a meeting. It'd be very easy for them to do that.
Yep. That's basically the idea that we are using right now for our 3,000 members. Is that they as I said, they can move freely to those properties that are part of the network. But our pitch to you guys is to create that a seamless network and connect all the World Trade Center buildings. So, for instance, if you like have 3 or 4 different properties in Manhattan, connect them. So if there is a full on one building, you can move people to the next one, and that will actually increase the income for both for both parties, and you're providing an extra value for your tenants.
Good. Yeah, very, very interesting.
Well, see, does it mean a pretty substantive amount of revenue for the landlords or the owners? I mean, just trying to get a sense of, is it 5 rentals a week, or is it constant? Is it pretty good revenue source for the buildings?
Yeah, Charlie. So I can be transparent and honest about that. We are a startup right now, right? So we just started our service for 2 years ago, but our hope is, and then we was hit by Corona, and everything was like shut down, and there was no use. So it's hard to get the actual numbers, but what we have seen, and in our business model, and also the landlords that have been joining our platform, is that they are actually seeing an increase of income with 30% or up to 30%. That's what we are, seeing in our business models as well.
That's excellent. Okay, I was just trying to get a sense of the materiality of the income source.
Yep.
John, how do you think this fits in with business centers? Is there?
I think it could fit in very easily with the business center and also with the convention. I mean, there's always rooms available, like at the Reagan building.
Yeah.
And for meetings, and it would be very easy for us to basically take people who are visiting DC and who wanted at the World Trade Center meeting location, or just that location, and they could book through this. It would save us an awful lot of time and energy, and we could have a set amount of money, and we could share it with, or we could collect, or we could share it with the source. If it's a member from some other World Trade Center, we could share it with them.
Yep.
But it does allow them. It does allow them to sort of come to DC, and I would think with the clubs, it's the same thing. A lot of the clubs will have some extra space, and they won't be utilized all the time. I think from the business club perspective, there's your base of business. I think that's the other thing, which is that's a fixed group of people who are interested in, socializing around international topics or whatever it might be. So, I mean, again,
they have
there's
an
a connection
affinity.
there. Yeah.
My question was exactly something which got answered. That does it also reflect different asset classes of the real estate, not just the business center, but like service apartments and hotels, and does it cater to them as well?
Yeah, as I said, that technically our platform is completely generic. So I actually technically I don't care about what asset class it is. It can be like in Norway right now. We have boardrooms, meeting rooms, big rooms, small rooms, even podcasts. We even have gyms and free or flex desks and offices. So technically, we don't have any kind of limitation about to set different kind of asset classes in our platform. It can be anything that can be rented out, basically.
No, but the thing is that, if it's a business club or a business center, then it could be from 1 hour to a whole day, right? But when it comes to office space, usually we have a limitation of from 3 months going up to 3 years or 9 years. So how is that factored? And I know we're getting a little too micro, but it's just for my understanding that I want to, understand that how does it actually address those aspects?
Yeah, so we are built upon the principles around, let's say, the circle economy and the subscription-based model. That was like our first initial idea, is to set one price for free use of office space or office desk. It's not a platform for long lease contracts. That's not what we have. It's for all the flexibility that we see that are already hitting the market, because people want to work remotely. They want to have this hybrid way of working. I think that's where the platform fits in, to let people use the extra capacity that we have in one building, let them move move from one building to the other. It also fits really good where you actually have tenants with, let's say, a company, a tenant that are increasing with number of employees, where they are not willing to increase the lease contract, but you can provide them with that extra flexibility. So you're combining the long lease contracts with that flexible product. It makes a lot of sense, at least with what we have seen so far.
Okay, another question. Sorry, Wasim, actually, because we are using an app actually, which is for to cater to the real estate. When we talk about the facility management, it's about what exactly do you mean by that, the service? Because in our case, we have, which is like raises a complaint or a query, which is then within a set TAT period is actually addressed for the users of that particular WTC tower or anything. We our tenants or owners or investors, they actually use that app for the facility management. So does the same thing mean something similar? We have something similar.
Yeah, as I mentioned in the first picture I had about the powerhouse, that building is fully powered by Orbit with our technology. So the property owner are using our app as the facility management app.
Okay.
That's interesting. Carla?
Yes, I have a question, and that is, would there be, in terms of charging for facilities, one price for non-members of, say, the business clubs or their World Trade Centers, and another price for members? Because we talk a lot about reciprocity and discounts if offered. And would individual members, companies, be able to use this to make reservations in another part of the world, and then we would receive the referral? Is there some way of doing that?
Yes. The answer for your last question is yes. You can connect any of the rest of the Orbit network into that service. So as long as we are increasing our network and properties to be part of our service, you can combine, as example, a World Trade Center building with a third-party building that is kind of out of the World Trade Center brand. They can be joined together. That was your last question. If you could please repeat your first one.
Well, one of the things that many World Trade Centers offer is to their members themselves, if they are on a membership basis, that their paying members receive discounts to services. Could that also apply to the rental if the reciprocal World Trade Center offers that? Would that also be advanced to, say, World Trade Center Atlanta wanting to make a reservation to World Trade Center in the Netherlands? Is there some way to do that and at the same time share the revenues and make sure that there's complete reciprocity in this system, and make it easy so that we as World Trade Centers don't have to make the reservations, but our members receive some kind of special code where they can do it, go into the system and make their own reservation?
Yeah, The answer is yes. So our goal is to connect all the buildings as much as possible and connect all the World Trade Centers, so your members can move freely from one center to the other with no restrictions around globally. So the answer is yes.
Okay, so this would essentially be like an Expedia or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Airbnb.
Yeah, I think that the best example you can use that to see this as a kind of like an Airbnb
Okay.
for office space, but made especially for World Trade Center with your brand and your products in that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Carl.
Charlie. Wasim, thanks very much for the presentation. I know we've been sort of within our real estate Mac, and thanks very much to Per. We've been talking about this for a while, and we appreciate that finally we've managed to speak to you. So you've almost answered the question that I was going to put to you just as you were closing the last question. In that you would envisage that this sort of way of working with us would be white labeled, so to speak. So it would be a World Trade Center product. So that, I think, and I'd be really interested for my colleagues to explore what their thoughts are around some of the benefits that it might pose if we were to use that. So for instance, I'll give you an example. Our building here in Gibraltar is 100% occupied at the moment. So that means that we can't obviously let any more space, but perhaps one of our trade services could actually be qualified as to be providing members with the ability to utilize other space in Gibraltar through our white labeled app or product, which, you know, even though they're not taking up space that we would have had if we'd built it, they could still be using some form of World Trade Center service. So it's a little bit of a left field solution, but it means that, you know, if you are actually completely full as a building, you can still offer a service as a World Trade Center. And I think maybe that's something that our group should discuss moving forward, is what that also does as a service for cities where we don't have a World Trade Center yet. And that might sort of open up thought processes for the likes of Robin and others, where, you know, all of a sudden this actually could be a way in which to build interest around a brand before we have a license holder, maybe, or before we actually have a building itself.
I like that. Pam?
Yeah, well, how would it work if, you know, the building, or in our case, our venue has an existing venue management system that actually manages the calendar for bookings? How would that work? Would it be, would this app be compatible? Would have to be compatible with the app or the venue management system that, you know, the building would have?
So if you already have a booking system, we will look for option for integrating our app with your existing booking system. If you don't have any kind of booking system, our platform has that ability to provide that to you.
And do you think that having both would actually create incremental revenue for the building?
I'm not so sure if I got your question, Pamela.
Well, if the building already has an existing booking system, and then we engage or subscribe to this particular app, would then that assure additional revenue for the business? Considering that, you know, there's going to be compatibility in both the app and the booking system that's current.
Yeah, sorry if I don't understand the question, but
or would you think here, Wasim, would you think it would be a duplication?
As I said, you don't need to duplicate. If you already have a booking system, our platform has APIs to connect to your existing booking system. So we will just how do you say that in English? We will just replicate and show whatever that exists in your booking system. So just make a copy, but your booking system will stay the master of the data. But as I know, they're like in Powerhouse, getting back to that building, they didn't have anything. So we provided the booking system. So we have the ability to provide that as well if you don't have it. But if you have it, your booking system will stay the master of all data.
Right. Well, just an additional question. Is there any hardware involved in the installation? Or it's just merely a software?
Yeah, so there is two options. Again, if you have access system already implemented, we will connect to that access system that you have, access control system. That's the hardware to let people, securely pass through doors. If you don't have it, we actually have an agreement with an American company called OpenPath. They are just acquired by Motorola, and they can provide the hardware if that is needed.
Thank you, Wasim.
Thank you.
Danica?
Yes, hello everyone. A question from the area of Central and Eastern Europe. I was wondering how difficult is Wasim to install that hardware, and how will you provide to our centers maintenance throughout the period to come?
Yeah, so we did the implementation of the hardware in Powerhouse. We changed actually the old system, even that the building was quite new. And the replacement for it was about 4,000 square meters. We did that within 2 weeks. It's quite easy.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you going to have any, let's say, any contact person when something might go wrong?
Sure. Yeah, we do have a support function, and as I said, that the hardware is provided by a massive big company, Motorola, and they will provide the service in all the countries that. So
it's a sustainable product, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Carrot?
Yeah, thank you so much, Wasim. This is really interesting. Thanks for your generous offer for 6 months trial for us. I'm curious about the fees post 6 months. Do you take a percentage of every booking, or what is your financial model going forward? That's one question. And then the other question I had was about how you compare to any competitors that you might have out there, and have you identified some?
Yeah, it's a good question. I love that question. It's cool. It's in my domain when it comes into creating a startup. So yes, there is a small fee that we can discuss upon. What we have done in Norway is that if there's hardware included, we charge approx $5 per month per user. That's the fixed price that we take. If there is no hardware required in that property, we only charge approx $2 per user per month. But again, to create this service, and our offering is to create this white label for World Trade Center, and we want your input as well, how we can actually create this business model together. So I'm the founder, and I want input, and I'm willing to adjust all of my business models if I get good attention from you guys. Your second question about if we have some competitors, yeah, there are a couple of companies that are looking into the same space. One is UK based called Zana, The second one is US based, and their name is Upflex. They are doing kind of similar things, but not connecting properties across different landlords. They are not doing that, but they are kind of like the similar business model, but not the full extension of actually building a platform. They have a product, but not a platform.
Okay, thank you very much.
Robin?
Yeah, thank you, Charlie and Wasim. This is very interesting. I wanted to build on what Ed was mentioning. So this is a white label product, so that we could potentially expand this also beyond our network and create a separate licensed WTCA product.
Yeah.
From this. So you would allow us to work with that and make this our own branded product that we can actually then license also to others using your platform,
yes.
your technology. Yep. Because that could potentially create a revenue stream for us beyond our own network.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
And what
Thank you.
No, just a comment that I have is, I think the linking seems very powerful. I mean, right now we use WhatsApp, websites, emails, and this kind of creates a marketing networking that everybody has really a common interest in. And I think, the execution of it could really be powerful. Wasim, what's the process in terms of putting the data up? Do you all control that? Do you need BIM information? Building information management system? How does it work where you all actually get these up online? And would you do a demonstration project for a couple WTCs? Yeah.
That's our proposal, Charlie, is to start with, if I may, suggest a process, is if there are some World centers that want to be kind of like the test bed, I don't know, in any country, we can start with that to show the value and the power of the platform that we are creating. And success, if that is that pilot is a success, we can reach out to multiple locations and showcase the same thing. That's what we started. As I said, for 2 years ago, with one of the most anticipated buildings in the world, the Powerhouse, and we actually got that project just being a start of life for 7 months. And now we have all the major property owners in Norway backing us and helping us to take one property at a time and extending that network. So I think the way that process should work is actually the same thing. To start with some few that are willing to test it out, and then we can continue to expand.
Excellent. Yes, John?
Charlie, just two thoughts along the same lines. I'm just wondering if we talk to our business club members and ask them who has a business club that would a number of their members travel to other locations. I mean, that might be one place to start and just explore whether or not there are people then, let's say from Algiers, and they're traveling heavily into Europe regularly or whatever it might be. The other, that might be one way to get this thing going. I think another possibility is, and maybe it's already been thought about, is I look at, for example, connections between Boston and the airlines in particular. Who is frequent traveler between, let's say, Europe, Boston, whatever it might be, coming in for meetings, and the same thing to DC or Dublin. I think you could take a look at the airlines and see if there's a way to connect there. So that their business travelers could see this as a perk working with a World Trade Center, because those are people who are traveling frequently, and my guess, on business, and they're looking for places when they come in, there's probably always a need not only for a hotel room, but there's a need basically to find a place to meet and talk with prospective clients or clients. So I mean, there's possibilities in those areas, I think, for us.
I used to work with a CPA firm, John, and a lot of times we didn't have offices in some of the cities, and we bring teams of 8 people in, 10 people in, and we need a place to work. Right. And I just got a request yesterday for a group that's going to be doing focus groups around the world. and he needs a place for 50 people in about 25 different cities.
Right.
So this would be just a great vehicle for that.
They're a great example because they're that frequent traveler who's basically moving, around the world and needs locations wherever they go to work from. Temporarily too. And I mean, this is what he has here.
Okay. Robin, I'm procedurally, I'll get to you in a second, Valentia. Procedurally, does the MAC take a study process, or does this go to the WTCA as an initiative? How does that, what happens next from the association standpoint?
Yeah, well, thank you, Charlie. What happens next, I will defer to Crystal to address that on how the MAC can continue to be involved.
Yeah, thanks, Robin. Yeah, Charlie, I think we'll have a discussion kind of internally with the team, and I definitely want to hear from some of our other MAC leadership and the other MACs as well. I know we invited the conferences here today. The Business Club MAC couldn't make it. Trade Services definitely. But so those next steps are kind of more evaluation, and then exactly what you mentioned with a pilot phase. And John, your suggestion for working with the Business Club MAC definitely is a good one. And as well, I see Jim Perry is on the line here today. We'll definitely be speaking with him in terms of kind of what our possibilities are. So many discussions.
Excellent. Thank you. Valencia?
Valentina, there we go. So thank you, Jasmine, for the presentation. So this app will be used worldwide. It will be used in real time. So how many different languages are we going to be able to use? And is it going to be like a time zone that we can make sure that, we're in UK, but I'm in Miami, so I'm booking the right day at the right time?
Yeah. Really good question. It's a technical good question. We are, as we speak, adding language support. So the app will work in your local country with the local language, as long as that setup is set on your phone. So if you are like in Spain, the app will work in Spanish. If you are in Norway, it will work in Norwegian, and if you are in US, it will work in English. We are technically adding the time zone support. If we want to extend, like, as you said, if you are in New York and you're making a booking and reservation in Stockholm, we are going to support that as well. Those features are coming in the upcoming weeks.
Excellent. All right, a lot of food for thought. Any other questions? We shift to the balance of the agenda.
Charles, what would be interesting is a demo. While we've got the presentation today, but the demo of the various services, like I'm very, very keen on actually knowing about the revenue streams and about the facility management, right? So a demo of those would be very helpful.
Sure.
Yeah. And I'll work with Crystal, and we'll get a kind of a process down to advance these types of pilot programs and those types of things to get kind of a process down.
Well, I'll also just that we thank Wasim, and that I'll get back to him when we have sort of summed up how to proceed in the best possible way.
Great. Thank you very much, Wasim.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for letting me in. Thank you.
All right, good. Thank you all. I think from a question standpoint, I felt that this was very helpful. From a MAC perspective, would you all like to have something like this once every other MAC, have a kind of a product presentation like this that's topical? Is this beneficial to you all? Good. Just send me your feedback, and we'll schedule accordingly. I guess we do. All right. Thanks, Pamela. I guess the agenda is largely complete. Crystal, what are the next items we'd like to discuss? Open discussion?
Yes, I think we had an open discussion just now, but we do have some other business. I know Luca and the team from Malpensa Airport had a suggestion for another project involving a tenant database. Luca, are you there? You're just on mute.
Okay, here I am. Yeah, sorry, I put it on mute just to not disturb.
Thanks, Luca.
Yes, actually, even together with Danica, she's been here last week. It was a very nice meeting with her. We had a chat with her, and we presented her this sort of thought we had just to give just to maybe to start a discussion about this add value we could give to the clients of the World Trade Center worldwide. Something very, of course, very practical is the meaning is we would like to create. We will start first, and then we might see how it works. We would like to create a simple database together, of course, with the cluster of our clients, where each one of the companies simply presents itself and it's a specific job. So it will be a simple list, as of course accessible to everybody, and only from the tenants of the other World Trade Center worldwide, and this list could represent an add value to all members, because it could be very helpful in case of need of services in other countries or in other places around the world. It must be something accessible because, for example, we have here over 1,000 people working in the World Trade Center. We have over 40 companies, and it happens sometimes that a company, our client needs, for example, a contact, a help in Germany, and if we want to help them, we have to go on the website, we have to check it, we have to find the phone number, the phone the other member, ask for information. So the process is too long, we think. So a simple list could be helpful, we think.
Good. Well, I've been ambitious to get a tenant database for all the WTCs for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think it's the best marketing thing we can have when we show we've got 10 white label tenants in our WTCs. I think that's the biggest messaging we can send from a real estate standpoint. We're the A-list location.
Yeah, so maybe just to we could start with our place, give you all guys an example, and then we'll see if it's something useful, so we can work on it, or otherwise it could stay only a suggestion. But I think we want to try, so we'll start and we'll show you guys everything.
Good.
Maybe
we'd love to
next
give you
meeting.
Presentation on the pilot program that you're working on.
Yes. Okay.
That'd be great.
We'll do that.
Crystal?
Great. I think that was the only other topic that I knew about. Was there anyone else that wanted to mention anything upcoming, any questions, assistance you need? No, I don't think I see any hands. Okay. No, I think that's it from our end then.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just wanted to thank you all very much. And I think this, we're going to try to, 2 exercises are in process, the case studies. And I think we're really excited about that. I think that's going to be a good product. And I think we're got a great consultant working on it. And then the other exercise is what Wasim presented today. So that's good. And I'm going to try to work with you all to see what other dimensions we can add into the MAC on a presentation standpoint. In that vein, please send me ideas if you have them, and Crystal and I will kind of vet them and try to advance things as apropos. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care,
Really
everyone.
enjoyed it today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Pear.
Nice to meet you, Charlie.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Valencia. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Charlie.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Charlie.